Grace and peace, beloved. I'm Dr. William H. Myers, professor of New Testament and Black Church Studies at Ashland Theological Seminary in Ohio, and pastor of the New Mount Zion Baptist Church in Cleveland. I bring you the word for the day from Acts chapter 4, verse 12. Salvation is found in no one else. No one else. For there is no other name under heaven given to the human race by which we must be saved. And that, my friends, that name is Jesus. This is a sermon given by Peter. In that prior verse, he says that Jesus is the stone that you rejected, talking about the Jewish leaders, the Sanhedrin Council, as representative of not only the Jewish religious leaders, but many of the Jews themselves. He says, Jesus is the stone that you builders rejected, but he became the chief cornerstone. And there is no one else by whom you can receive salvation other than him. Now keep in mind, it also says, filled with the Holy Spirit. Peter spoke through the power of the Holy Spirit. So God was speaking. There's nothing to be debated here. Nothing to be debated. Salvation is only through acknowledging that Jesus is God, which they refuse to do. So we live now in a politically correct age. And there are many from different other religions or faiths that will say that if you are proselytizing, that is, if you are trying to get somebody to change from there, you are in some kind of way being prejudiced or biased. So if it's Jews, many of them will say you are being anti-Semitic. If it's Muslims, many will say that you are being homophobic or you are being anti-Muslims or something of this nature. And that we should not be trying to change anybody else from their religion. That's the secular culture now in which we live. And in the times in which we live, you know, it's many times called hate speech if you say those kind of things. And many will get angry about it. But let me say this to you. Peter was a Jew, so does it make him anti-Semitic? Paul, who said the same thing, he was a Jew. Does that make him anti-Semitic? But you know what? It is what got Paul killed. It is what got Peter threatened, put in jail, beaten, and they wanted to kill him as well, simply because he was telling the truth about the gospel and about the only way to be saved. You cannot reject Jesus as Son of God and expect to receive salvation. So, that is what we must preach. That is what we must be witnesses to. All of those who are Christians must be witness to that. And if you cower in these times of correct political speech or whatever, if you cower before people because if you are afraid of being called anti-Semitic or whatever, you know there are many Jews. My dentist is a Jewish Christian. There are many Jews that are Christians. And there are many, and not just the Jews, there are many other faiths who reject Jesus. You cannot reject Jesus. You cannot reject Jesus and say you accept God. No, the Bible is clear about that. You have to acknowledge that Jesus is God, and it's only through him and his sacrifice on the cross that you can be saved. He came for everybody. But that does not mean that everybody accepts him. It's not our place to put anybody in heaven or hell. It's our place to witness to the gospel and tell everybody it is Jesus that is Lord. And there's no other name under heaven by which anyone can be saved except that you acknowledge that Jesus is God, that he came in the flesh, that he was crucified, died, and was raised again and seated at the right hand of the Father, and he's coming again for all of those who accept him. That is what we preach. Paul says we only have one gospel we preach. We preach Jesus crucified. And anything else is folly. God bless you today. Go witness to somebody about that truth, the only truth about the gospel and salvation. Be blessed today.